The finale of Inosuke and Kanao versus Upper Moon 2 Doma. We finally wrapping up this fight, so let's get right into it. This chapter starts off with a flashback between Shinobu and Kanao. Shinobu tells her, if I ever encounter Upper Moon 2 who murdered our sister, and you happen to be fighting with me, Kanao, then here is my first condition. I have to be eaten and killed. Kanao's like, why though? If we fight together, we can well, abandon those naive thoughts right now. An Upper Moon is as strong as 3 pillars at minimum. But according to our sister's information, this Upper Moon 2 is quite gluttonous. And he has this strange fascination with eating women. So if his target is a pillar with great physical capabilities, who has a body in excellent condition, and is a woman on top of that, he'll definitely eat her. No. Shinobu explains that her body is currently filled with highly concentrated wisteria flower poison. It's in her blood, organs, and even the tip of her nails. Shinobu already thought everything through. Even if Kanao wanted to do this too, it takes too long. It took a year for Shinobu to reach this state, constantly absorbing wisteria poison. Plus, she's the first test subject for this. She has no idea what side effects it'll have in the future. She doesn't even know if it would affect Muzan or any Upper Moon. In her sword, she has about 50 milliliters. But if a demon eats her, they'll be consuming her entire body weight, 37 kilograms worth of poison. That's around 70 times more than the lethal dosage. Damn! Back in present time, when Doma touches the floor, his arm rips off, making him fall on his face. He's thinking to himself, I'm melting to the bone. Is this poison from that girl? I didn't even notice there was poison circulating in her body. Regenerate! Heal yourself! His little ice jits that he made earlier, they all collapse. Inosuke's like, what the hell? Did they just vanish? This gotta be a trap, some type of trap. But Kanao's like, no, Master's poison is starting to affect them. And she charges in. Inosuke, go for the head. We're cornering this guy. We go back to the flashback of Shinobu talking about she doesn't know if it's enough to exterminate a Upper Moon. At the very least, Oyakatama deemed it impossible. That's why in order to increase my chances of getting vengeance, he advised me to do some collab research with a demon. Then she tells Kanao, if that poison starts working, you can't let your guard down. The only way to kill him is to sever that neck. I will definitely weaken the demon. So deal the finishing blow and slice off his head, Kanao, with the most polite face ever. Kanao tells her, don't worry, she gonna follow through and slice off that head. I will not let your life go to waste, Shinobu Nissan. Face your death, you rotting asshole. And Inosuke and Kanao are there to deal the finishing blow. But Doma's not done yet. He activates Blood Demon Technique, Hoarfrost Liliboshi Sattva, and this big ass water frost statue appears. Kanao and Inosuke are shook. That big ass hand comes down and destroys everything in its way. Inosuke and Kanao fly up in the air. They're like, this is a bold ass move. He still has this much power? If we retreat outside the range of the freezing air, we'll be giving him time to recover. But if we inhale it, we won't be able to fight. Shinobu Nissan used her final moments of her life to warn me. But Kanao's like, nah. She looks closely and sees that Doma's technique is sloppy. His precision has clearly dropped. What he just did was a desperate last-ditch ploy, the final attack. Kanao's like, bet, it's time for me to use that too. We flash back to Shinobu telling Kanao that if she uses this technique, she might go permanently blind. She says eyeballs are delicate objects and she doesn't want Kanao to take on the burden of this technique. Kanao's like, why are you telling me this? You're losing your life, so why should I be worried about my eyesight? You're such a sweet person, a very honorable person. I wanted to protect you. I wanted to protect you with my life. I wanted us to go home together. And back in the battle, Kanao activates Breath of the Flowers. Final form, Scarlet Spider Lily Eyes. She done activated a dojutsu. The big ice construct grabbed Inosuke, but with Kanao's kinetic vision, all her surroundings are viewed as slowly and dually. She's putting so much pressure on her eyeballs that her scleria are turning red with blood. But it helps her get active and she slices off the arm and head of the construct. Then she swings her sword at Doma's neck. that big-ass ice statue appears, hitting Kanao with that ice breath directly. Kanao's hyping herself up like, go, go, you can kill him. There's no way I can't cut this slowly decaying head off. Ugh, my arms are frozen stiff. But Inosuke is still in this fight. Breath of the beast, brand new idea. Throwing slice, and he throws his swords at Kanao's sword, putting extra force behind her slice. Doma's like, oh shit, the blade is getting pushed in. And with that extra help from Inosuke, Kanao successfully sliced off Doma's head, just like she promised Shinobu Nissan. Doma's like, what the fuck? I got my head cut off? I lost to that weak-ass little girl? To that poison user that wasn't even strong enough to slice off a head? To that stupid-ass guy who doesn't even have the foundation for swordsmanship? Doma's like, damn, this is a pitiful-ass way to go out. But then he's like, wait a minute, I can't give up yet. I might not die, thinking he could survive getting his head sliced off like Muzan and Akaza. Oh, hell no! He doesn't have that ability, and his head starts crumbling. He accepts his pathetic ass is gonna die. As he slowly crumbles away, Doma doesn't feel anything, not afraid or annoyed, and he thinks to himself that he's always been this way. He thinks back to when his lustful dad kept putting his hands on females, so his mom stabbed him to death, then killed herself with poison. When that happened, all Doma was worried about is please don't make the room dirty. He had thoughts like that when he was a human. He never felt a moment of sadness or loneliness. And at the age of 20, he became a demon and lived for 100 years. But in the end, human emotions felt like a faraway illusion in his eyes. Then Doma finally dies. Before he goes to hell, Shinobu appeared before him holding his head because she's been waiting for him to die before she passes on. Domu's like, sup, are you Kanae-chan or Shinobu-chan? She tells him not to worry, his disgusting ass shouldn't even be saying their names. He compliments her poison, saying he didn't feel it in her body. Well, of course, I received help from the demon Tamayo, and she helped me cook up this poison. Tamayo. Ah, that woman. She says it felt annoying because she wanted to entomb Doma with a poison she created herself, if possible. But she's fine with this. Everyone wins here. Doma's like, Muzan's still around. But Shinobu is confident that one of her allies will get the job done. Doma just stares at her and his eyes widen. She's like, what's this? Is something wrong? Doma was turned on by Shinobu, and he thinks he fell in love with her. He's experiencing these feelings for the first time in his life. So to him, that confirms there's actually a heaven and hell. Hey, Shinobu-chan? Hey, you wanna go to hell with me? Nah, go fuck yourself in hell, shithead. Then they both pass on. Back in real time, Inosuke is stomping on Doma's ashes, hyped as hell. All bark and no bite, you ass. Finishing blow! I have avenged thee! Then he collapsed on the floor and thinks back on the time he had a convo with Zenitsu and Tanjiro about how he had no mother. Tanjiro's like, everybody has a mother. Then I was abandoned. I don't need a mama. She was probably in a situation where she had no choice but to abandon you, or else she wouldn't have given you a blanket or a name. I don't remember my mom. If I don't remember my mom, then I don't have one. Don't phrase it like that, bro. I'm sure your mother loved you a lot. And with the memories of his mother back, he realizes that Tanjiro was right, and he starts crying. Mom. At the same time in the water, Kanao finds Kanae's hairpiece, and it's broken. She's almost blind in her right eye after using that technique. The only reason it's not worse is because she used it for a short amount of time. She apologizes to her older sister Kanae for not being able to cry at her funeral. On that day, everyone was crying, and she was the only one who couldn't, and it bothered her a lot. She was sweating all over her body, yet nobody criticized her for it. Everyone was so kind, and they made up explanations in her heart. She was really traumatized because as a kid, if she cried, she would get kicked and stepped on by her pops, dragged around and dumped into water. She had to watch what she did, or else something bad would happen. The next morning, all her brothers' bodies were cold, and after that, she was unable to cry spontaneously. She apologizes and says that she might be able to cry now. I worked hard, right? I did as you told me and valued my friends, and they helped me. Even if it's impossible when I'm alone, my friends came to my aid. And after searching through the water, she finally finds Shinobu's hairpiece. She clutches the two of them tightly, and at that moment, she feels both her sisters touch her head, and they tell her, "You worked hard, Kanao." She looks up in shock. Then we see Kane and Shinobu enjoying life together in heaven with their parents. And the chapter ends with tears running down Kanao's face. She's finally able to cry. This shit's gonna be peak when it gets animated. We're finally done with this battle. Let me know if y'all enjoy these and y'all want me to keep going, cause next up we got some Slayers versus Upper Moon 1, Kokoshibo. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and on that note, I'm gonna see y'all boys and girls next time.